Mr. Seb Grant here, and I just want to start off by saying that I don't have a problem with pot. I don't think you're going to smoke weed once and have it change who you are completely. I just have a problem with the marijuana habit that affects 9% of daily smokers eventually. But I'm not going to go and say weed is healthy for you, or that you should smoke weed every day, like I did for well over a decade. I also think some drug laws are more dangerous than the drugs themselves. I don't think we should outlaw gambling either, and that's coming from someone who had a very serious gambling problem. So why don't I hate these things if they cause me so much harm in my life? They aren't to blame, because reality is the way reality is. Escapism doesn't work. You can't escape these things because wherever you escape to, these things are still there. You can't argue with reality, but you can change the way you are. The problem isn't with the outside world. Maybe gambling should be illegal. Maybe marijuana should be legal. We shouldn't be limited so we can learn from all experience. So if you have a problem with marijuana, you have a problem with gambling, you have a problem with alcohol or whatever, the problem isn't even lack of information you have. For example, if you want to lose weight, the information you need is eat less and run. If information was all you needed, everyone would be rich, skinny and happy. But they're not, because it's not just the information you need. There's something that holds you back. There's a resistance to change. If you're not being the person you want to be, it creates a stress called dissonance. Dissonance, new word, what is it? Dissonance is the stress you feel when your self-image and actions are different things. When the person you're being is not the person you want to be. So there's three types of sort of relationships you can have with yourself. The first one is a consonant relationship. That's where there's no dissonance. This is a belief or a thought that is consistent with your actions. A good example is if you want to quit drinking and then you go out to dinner with your friends and everyone orders alcohol and you don't want to drink, so you order water instead of alcohol. Your belief was consistent with your actions, so there's no dissonance. The second is an irrelevant relationship, and this is low dissonance. This is really common with people trying to quit smoking weed or quit alcohol or this type of thing, quit an addiction. It's an irrelevant relationship. It's low dissonance. A belief or thought that is unrelated to your action. An example of that would be you don't want to drink anymore. You go out to dinner with your friends. Everyone's drinking alcohol, so you tie your shoelaces. Right? What does tying your shoelaces have to do with anything? It has nothing to do with anything. You haven't dealt with the emotional cause. You've just redirected your neural pathway or the way you deal with that emotion. And remember, emotion just energy in motion. That's all it is. And then you go to the really addictive relationship. This is a dissonant relationship. High dissonance, which means lots of stress. This is a belief or thought that is inconsistent to your actions. A good example of this is not wanting to drink when you're out, then consuming 6 tequila shots anyway. You continue doing it to yourself. So sure, every time you drink, smoke, you release bad chemicals into your body. We already know all that. But an even more effective way to put bad chemicals in your body is through negative emotions and stress. And I can tell you now that dissonance is something I see very regularly in people that are trying to quit any bad habit, even something really simple and seemingly non-addictive like marijuana. Two bad chemicals you can release often into your body are adrenaline and cortisol. Naturally, these are both good chemicals. Adrenaline is to do with fight or flight. If a bear attacks you, you want adrenaline so you have extra speed and strength. If you have a speech in the morning and you haven't prepared for it, you may release some cortisol to give you a little bit of extra stress so that you are nervous. You do have fear. You want these chemicals so that you prepare for your speech. So they can be useful chemicals, but if you release them regularly, these things kill you. They're bad chemicals. Now, what does this have to do with trying to quit an addiction or trying to change a habit, like get up and exercise every day? Well, it has a lot to do with it, because if you continue pushing stress into your body, this is affecting you on a cellular level. Every cell inside your body does three main things, and this is really, really important to know. Firstly, they receive chemicals, which is information. They just receive information. Then, as they get used to receiving certain chemicals, they will start to request the same information. They will request the same chemicals. And the third thing they do is they will multiply into more cells that ask for the same chemicals. So if you continue experiencing this dissonance, your cells in your body are going to keep receiving this stress, and then this cell in your body is going to ask for more stress, and your brain is going to interpret that signal and then seek out the behavior, the action, the drug that gives you the chemical that provides the feeling and the stress. Also, you might have a limiting belief where you believe that this action actually relieves the stress that it causes. For example, you believe you need weed to relax, or you believe gambling will solve your financial problems that it is actually causing. And this is what's affecting your decisions. We all do things for two reasons: to gain pleasure or avoid pain. That's your motivation for everything. But the way you judge it isn't logical, it's all emotion. And it's all chemicals. The main two good chemicals you'll hear about most are dopamine and serotonin. This is the difference between seeking something out because you feel the need for it and legitimately liking something. There's three ways to attract these happiness chemicals, and there's three types of happiness in general. Pleasure, which is temporary, comes from dopamine. This is sex, drugs, alcohol, gambling. Passion lasts longer than that. This is more based on serotonin. Writing, painting, self-expression. This is a happiness that lasts longer. And purpose is the longest lasting type of happiness. This is true meaning, giving back to other people, helping, leadership. This mostly comes from serotonin. Marijuana is mostly about dopamine. This could explain why a lot of long-term marijuana smokers often feel depression or anxiety related to smoking weed. When you start feeding yourself weed to try and get more dopamine into your body, it doesn't work. We know it doesn't work because you build up a tolerance to it. You need more and more weed to get the same effect. You need more alcohol to get the same effect. You need more gambling to get the same effect. You end up chasing this dopamine dream, and it doesn't exist. It's impossible to keep it up. And you'll know if this applies to you, and it probably doesn't. Most people avoid this trap, but if you do fall into this trap, you will consistently need more and more to achieve the same level of happiness. But the worst thing about this is if you keep feeding your cells adrenaline, if you keep seeking out stress, anything that puts bad chemicals in your body, your cells will not only ask for more, but they will multiply. This creates the urge to smoke weed, this creates the urge to gamble or drink alcohol, and this is where your cravings come from. Look at gambling. Nothing goes into your body with gambling, but many people are addicted to it. So sometimes you create the chemicals inside your own body. And with things like marijuana and alcohol, they also change your mental state reliably, instantly, chemically. It's real, and many people experience this, but what you need to realize is the hardest change is in the first week. And the reason is because the cells in your body are giving you cravings, asking for what they're used to. This is a good thing because this is your body changing on the inside. And if you just get through that period where it's really hard and you have feelings that are going against what you truly want, just realize that that is your body changing and you're doing what you need to do in order to change permanently. If you deny yourselves of these chemicals, you feel pain. But if you replace your activity with something else that naturally gives your cells these chemicals, like we spoke about, meditation, exercise, these things release good chemicals naturally. That's your natural reward mechanism. So deal with your body first. Stick through the hard part of 2 to 5 days. And then once your brain realizes that you can get these chemicals from other activities, it will rewire and your cravings will disappear. Seb Grant here. Thanks a lot for watching this. I'll catch you again shortly. Bye.